March 18, 2025. This is the S&P 500E Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. It was sell-off, and then probably about 30 minutes after the market opened, just went into this big sideways consolidation. This is how I drew up the charts. I took one trade today, which is right here. It was profitable, and there was no economic data that came out to really move the markets, but I will say today felt like it was very forgiving. And what I mean by that is there were a lot of trades that I marked more than usual that I didn't take because most likely the signal bar wasn't that good or felt a little risky. But today was forgiving because if you just jumped on any, second entry, any clean second entries, I'm going to go through them, the trade would have worked out. But it definitely was a lot of FOMO, especially toward the end of the day when I looked back and I saw how many trades actually worked out, but it didn't quite conform to the rules that I was trying to follow. So in the end, I'm happy that I got the one trade that was profitable, but a little bummed that I wasn't more bold. But I think it's better that I wasn't bold because some of these felt like they could have gone the other way. The only thing that really kind of shook things up, this really choppy price action here, I think there was a meeting by President Trump and Putin or something to try to end the Ukraine war. There's some trouble in the Middle East. It was just kind of very choppy, very volatile. I'm going to go into the trades right now. Pre-market, there's this green down channel that I found, sell off, break, pushes up on this orange. Looks like it's two legs up, pushes back down. I saw this in the pre-market, but I wasn't there to take it. It was like a localized new high. You have a first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long fails on this candle, but you also have a new low here. First entry short, pullback, second entry short, pushes back down. You get a new swing low. So you actually have a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Second entry short is not the best signal bar, but combined with the failed second entry long, there's a possible trade here because you do have enough room to the lows. So then markets open. It was in a sideways consolidation. There's no clean second entries or setups here that I found. It was in this trading range, breaks down, pushes down on this orange down channel, breaks, tests the low, reverses. I find this yellow down channel. I kind of placed it here and here, and it looked like it had good confirmation touches at the top of the resistance of the yellow down channel. So it's a break of this orange down, pushes up. You technically have a first entry short here, second entry short here. There's a first entry release tight. Second, but unfortunately this one didn't break above and it flushes down, pushes down, kind of looks like it's in a sideways consolidation. And the first setup that I saw that besides the one in the pre-market, it looked like it was a trading range. There's a triple test here. You have a localized new low here. I saw a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. I like that this trigger bar, so this is a bad signal bar for the second entry short. And as you're going to see today, there are a lot of second entries with signal bars that just, it's a technical second entry, but I didn't like the signal bar, so I avoided it, and they all seem to have worked today. So today was like very forgiving if you're just kind of jumping on a lot of trades. And unfortunately, I didn't take advantage of that. And I'm actually okay with that because I think if I jumped on too many, I might have just gotten sloppy and then jumped on other things that clearly were not good trades. So anyways, there's a triple test here, second entry short, works out. I think you couldn't have taken this at the lows in real time. You'd have to take it on the engulfing. You'd have to trust that this push up pushes down. What the EMA is kind of acting as resistance. You'd have to take it on the engulfing because if it closes here, I wouldn't have taken it. I wouldn't recommend taking it because you're going to hit a localized support area. However, as I said, today was very forgiving. If you took it, you would have gotten your scalp probably over here. I also saw this as a localized new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long failure. I didn't really put this in the notes, but it's just already at the lows of the trading range. But in this case, it still would have worked. Pushes down, moves down to this purple down channel, pushes down. So you have new localized low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short above the EMA. It's the first break of this yellow down channel. So you're expecting prices to move back in. So if this had moved one tick above and flushed down, then I think it would have marked it. but it kind of made a double top and flush down. Above the EMA, I'm not liking it too much. Plus, there's a little bit too much of a tail here. So then it kind of pushes down, pushes up. So I'm thinking, is there a potential lower high? Is it really going to move back into this yellow down channel? As an inside bar, so I'm thinking there's prices might be pushing back below. So what happened is I dropped in an order. So I waited. This isn't a good signal bar to go short on. It is a little more aggressive. So say first entry short, second entry short, lower high, but the lower, so that's what I marked it as. Lower high, I'm not too keen on it. As an inside bar next, I'm still not too keen on it. So I watch this open, pushes up. I wasn't thinking there's going to be a trade here. It starts failing and pushing back down. So when it pushed down below the lows of here, I dropped in my order, got quickly, it pulled back quickly enough to get me and then flushed down really rapidly. This is a very, very quick closing candle. So I was able to get a quick scalp out of that. But I also realized how risky this trade was because this isn't a good signal bar. Not the best setup. But in this case, it worked. Pushes down, hits the low of this channel, creates and touches and makes a new low. So I'm thinking it might have bottomed. Is there a potential for it to move back up? I'm not 100% sure. There's a new low, first entry short, second entry short. It's just too congested. I don't like this. It almost looks like a fence. It's just up and down, opposing tug of war. Like the bulls are winning, the bears are winning, the bulls are winning, but they're not winning decisively. They're all pretty much making the same size candle with small moves above and small moves below. But it does look like it has a slight bearish, slight bullish momentum to it because the EMA is starting to curl up, but it's not something I particularly like. So I'm just sitting on my hands here. It gets choppy. There are second entries here, but this isn't a clean area. Breaks out as a fail breakout here, starts pushing down. I'm expecting a potential bounce off this low side. So it's a new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, and a potential triple test. I thought this was a possible trade. See, go ahead and do this. The yellow down channel looks like it's already made and tested its low, and it tried a second time. So it's creating a triple test. It looks like it's a bottom of a range. So I'm thinking there's a long trade here. So the break of this green down channel has also tested the low. So I'm thinking the downtrend or the bearish push for this yellow down channel has played out. This green one has played out. So it all points to a potential correction plus it's a bounce off the low side of this potentially valid trading range. And then later you're going to see that, yeah, it seems pretty valid. So I thought it was a possible trade, but I wanted to wait for a higher low confirmation. It points, it kind of shows that if I just took it, it would have been a great trade. You kind of get a double bottom higher low. I didn't mark it, but this would also have worked, but I wasn't ready to take it here. And then after this one closes and engulfs, I'm not willing to take it here because I'm concerned. There is enough room. I'm just wondering if it's going to have a bounce here. Again, this guy was also going to work. It's a new low, say first entry short, pull back, second entry short, second entry short, see, excuse me. Second entry short, let's see. Second entry shorts here. Where am I on my notes? First entry short, second entry short. This is also a possible trade because it's a nice break of this orange up channel, test the high, potential hitting of the resistance here. So this is a possible trade. Decent signal bar, enough room for a scalp. You could claim there was enough room for a scalp here, but this one you have a little bit more going for it. I felt because it just felt like I hit the top. This one's already too far from the bottom, so I wasn't sure if it was going to run out of steam on this long here, but it works out for this short. Pushes down, first entry long, pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long fail breakout, but this is not a good signal bar. Prices then continue moving. You have a new low, first entry short, second entry short. This isn't a good signal. This isn't a good placement for the signal bar. Let me adjust this here. And so this is another trade I saw. It was like one leg up, pullback, second leg, break of this orange up channel. It's a new low, first entry short, second entry short, second entry short. And this is one of the cases where this is your signal bar, but it's right at the EMA. if you took it one tick below, it looks like you would have gotten stopped out here. So I'm looking for a lower high, and then you get a lower high here. So this is a possible trade, but when I looked at it further, I considered an almost trade. So it's a new low, first entry short, second entry short, lower high. The thing I didn't really like and called it an almost trade, or at least if it's possible, it's more aggressive. It has a nice close at the bottom, but now there's enough room for a quick 1 point scalp, but it's just too close for my comfort. It would have worked, bounces. So looking back, just want to point out that a lot of these trades that I marked or thought about, they all would have worked out. But even if the signal bar or the context wasn't the cleanest, they all would have worked out. And it's kind of an interesting day where if you were a beginner trader, and I still consider myself kind of in that area, if I took all these trades, I think I would probably think I just completely understand how to do the strategy, which is a dangerous game because it would give you a lot of beginner's luck. So it was just a very interesting day. I mean, kind of certainly have FOMO. Certainly wished I did jump on some of these. Was a little too conservative today. Prices then continue chopping sideways, and this kind of sets up here. There's a fail breakout of this range. It's technically if you started from here, it's a first entry short, pull back, second entry short. Then it's kind of like a third entry short. The lower high is right here. This is a new swing low. So I saw it as a first entry short, pushes up, potential second entry short. Second entry short, fail breakout. When I saw this in real time, I'm thinking there might be more move to it. I like this big tail though. And by the time it forms this, it's too late for the trade. And again, not knowing what day it was going to be today and how forgiving things were, there is, in my opinion, a higher risk to try to jump in on this. There is a lot of momentum. Plus, it looks like bears are pushing down to potentially create an overshoot on this side. So there is maybe, if you're more aggressive, a chance to enter. But as soon as this candle opens and closes and never tick below, if I was considering a trade, I would have deleted it. Then it creates a lower high possibility and it confirms a lower high. And in this case, you have a confirmed lower high here. I'd be just weary of taking a trade because it looks like prices are starting to trend bullish. But in this case, it worked. Pushes down, breaks, and continues to make another new low. Starts reversing, it's pushing up on this green up channel, break, test the high. So I'm wondering if this top of this range is going to act as some kind of resistance, or is it more likely going to push to the high of this gray trading range? Pushes up. You have first entry long. Unfortunately, I really wanted and hoped that this would have ticked below and pushed up. Then you would have a nice clean first entry long, hidden second entry long. But by the time you push up, you only really get a first entry long. Then it creates a localized new low here. It's a first entry short, pull back, second entry short. It's a break of this yellow up channel. Initially, I was playing this green up channel as a break and pushed to the high. Then it came back and kept going. So I was thinking, okay, this is a break of the green up channel. Might have played out, but it came back, bounced off the EMA, kept going. So I created this second yellow up channel. This yellow up channel, didn't mean to do that. This yellow up channel has pushed, break, and tested the high. It's also what I saw a localized low, first entry short, pullback, potential second entry short. Test the high has been completed on this yellow. It's the top of this trading range, small breakout. Looks like it's coming back down. Here, I thought there might have been a trade here. Plus, there's enough room to the EMA. Then you also get a first entry long pullback, second entry long failure. I'll just mark it. If you decide to take the second entry long, I think it was a little more aggressive. But again, if you had known today was going to be so forgiving, I would have jumped on it because it's first entry, second entry. It doesn't really matter if the EMA is here at this point because it's just going to push down. If this had broken below the EMA, then I would have felt more confident, or the close was right at the bottom because right before this candle closed, there was some buying pressure to push it up. So it left me a little weary of whether it was going to be a bounce here or not. There's a first entry long, second entry long, lower high, pushes down, bounces off the low of this range, break of this orange down channel, tested low. So I'm thinking this down channel may have played out, and there's a potential for another move back up. Creates a first entry short. This arrow is slightly off. It didn't break above, but you do have a first entry, second entry, and it would have worked in this case. This is a bad signal bar, so I was not having anything to do with it. But in this case, again, it was just a forgiving day. It would have worked. And then here I'm watching, I'm thinking there's kind of a visual first entry, pullback, second entry. I like that there was a micro triple top here that the prices failed to break through. So I was just going off a hunch that there's probably a short opportunity here, but I certainly wasn't going to risk a real trade on it. It does push down. And I think this is when I think news was coming out of Trump's discussion and just other economic stuff coming out, and it just kind of created these really big, really fast moving bars. It's a first entry, second entry. Again, if you took a second entry here, it's a bad signal bar, but in this case, again, it would have worked out. Break of this green up channel, test the high. These are pretty big candles now, relatively speaking. It's a new high, it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I also saw a new low here, first entry short, second entry short. Technically, it's created third entry short, but I saw it as a second entry short failure, visual, first entry, second entry failure, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. Again, it would have worked. Decent signal bar. I mean, considering how forgiving today was, this would have been another trade. Prices move up, breaks out of the top of this resistance, starts pushing down. So it's a new high, it's a first entry long, pullback, second entry long. Break of this green down channel, test the low. I'm thinking the down channel of this green has played out, but I'm in a little bit of an area of confusion because there's a clear trading range that you're in, but this is bouncing off just kind of this area of unknown. Up here, you do have kind of an area that you can expect where resistance is going to be. And down here, you have a clear idea where support's going to be. But this is kind of bouncing out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm thinking this this bearish move has played out here, but it could create a second leg down to at least touch this. But I wouldn't be surprised if it went up. So that made me think, okay, well, I clearly don't know what's going on. There's biases that you could make an argument for both directions, in which case, just leave it alone. In this case, is a bullish bull side one, pushes up. It creates a new high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long, new low, first entry short pullback. Technically, your second entry short is right here, but I saw it as a visual first entry short, second entry short. So I'm thinking there's more reasons to go long than short. Plus, this break of this orange up channel needs to test the high. It's a decent signal bar, even though it's red. And by the time it closes, I wasn't on the trade, but I'm okay because this one was a little ambiguous. Then it gives you this higher low. So it's confirming this previous setup. New low, visual first entry short, second entry short, higher low here, visual first entry long pullback, second entry long, double top, or matching highs, pushes back. You could argue that potentially the orange channel has played out because maybe this attempt to reach the high has been satisfied, but it gives you this very, very encouraging bullish candle. So I thought there was a trade here. Again, I just didn't take it though. This would have worked and it flushes up like that. Pushes out, failed breakout, first entry long pullback, second entry long, technically a third entry long, green down channel broke, test the low. With this failed breakout and break of this green down channel coming down, I wasn't sure if it was going to come all the way back down to touch this because after pretty much this point, 10:30 Pacific Standard, it's not quite spanning the range as nicely as it did previously because prior to that, it was hitting the highs rather consistently, hitting a localized low area pretty consistently. But now it's just getting a little iffy. Is it going to break and push out, or is it actually going to come back in? This could be a failed breakout as well. I wasn't sure. So I'm just watching carefully. It reverses. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe, there are this by the technical count, it's not even a second entry anymore. It's like a third, fourth, fifth entry. So I'm just watching and waiting. Get these big moves up and down, also candles with big spikes. I'm not too keen on those. It creates a localized low. There's a first entry short pullback, second entry short. Second entry short, it is the top of this, for the most part, confirmed range. For the most part, confirmed range. This is first entry short, second entry short, confirmed second entry short. I wasn't too keen on the follow through. This trigger bar closed rather high, so it showed there's a lot of bullish buying pressure pushing up. But it was a break of this green down channel, tested low, made two legs up, seeing how things were today, I was thinking there's a potential trade here. I would have, but I didn't, unfortunately, had my trade ready and I would try to enter below this candle on the next one. So here it looks like he would have gotten filled, would have gotten the quick 1 point scalp and flushed down. Then it just gets really choppy in the sub or inside trading range, breaks down. It's just creating these big swing legs all the way into the close. So it was a really interesting day. It seemed like if you're, if my trading had been more, I guess, ambitious or more, I guess, aggressive, there's a bunch of these trades would have worked out. But as I said, the signal bars weren't quite right. I thought, or maybe overthought, that the trade setup was just a little iffy. But today I felt a little more forgiving with these big swings that if you just kind of took one going with the direction or you just follow the rules of a break and a test of the extreme before the prices are coming back, you would have, I think, picked up quite a few of these trades, but not necessarily because it was necessarily safe or high probable trades, but just because today I think price action was following rather correctly to the rules. So hopefully that was helpful.